Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so with this video, we are going to, I think, probably we split this one to two videos. We will talk about the major muscles in human body. So in the previous lecture, we give you an overview of the muscle system. We have the skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and the cardiac myocyte. And today we are going to just look at the skeletal muscle and look into be able to identify those major muscles in human body. All right, so let me share my screen. Share. All right. So here is a slide, and this is the major muscle. So here I show you the major muscles anterior view. Anterior means the front anterior view, and the posterior view. So this one summarize almost like everything. Uh, so let's go through this one. So the muscles, skeletal muscle are the muscle connect with the skeleton, the bones. So the name of the muscle basically is associated with the bone. And because muscle connect with the bone, it has basically connect with, in most case, it connect with two ends. So one is called origin and the other one is called insertion. And so the name of the muscle usually come with the origin insertion. So yeah, so like like any of the yeah, yeah. So origin insertion, yeah, very much like a like flight, right? LAX to France, Paris, like LAX Paris route, something like that. So it's origin insertion. So most of it, or most of it is like that. Most of them are like that. Yeah. And then some of those will be just the shape, long, or it's the function. Uh, yeah, like a flexor, extensor, those kind of things. All right. So let's try to name all of this. So in the head, we are looking we will look into more detail into the facial muscle, but the primary one over there on top of your skull is the occipital frontalis. And so this one will have two bellies. This one has the frontal belly, the meat portion, the muscle portion, and then you have the tendon. The back you will see that is the occipital belly. So that's a continuous muscle. It's just the muscle portion are only in the frontal and in the occipital. And then you have a lot of facial muscle. The details are not showing here, but we will look into that. Then you have the neck muscle. The neck muscle, one of the most abundant one, most noticeable one is called sternoclavicle. It connect with the sternum. Clavicle connect with the clavicle. Sternocleido, and then mastoid, the mastoid process of your temporal bone. So that's called sternocleidomastoid. Then here the arm, the shoulder and the chest. The shoulder muscle is called deltoid. The deltoid basically cover the shoulder portion. It has the triangular shape. So you can see that deltoid as well as the back, uh, deltoid right here. Yeah. So that's that deltoid. And then chest, you have the pectoralis major. You also have a deeper portion. You have the pectoralis minor. Uh, trapezoid is more noticeable in the back. So let me show you trapezoid. Trapezoid is this big muscle, basically cover the thoracic vertebra and all the way to the shoulder, but most noticeably in the back. So that's trapezius. And then the abdominal portion, you have the abdominal rectus abdominis. And then on the side, you have the oblique, abdominal external oblique. And then going to the arm, in the chest, deeper than the pectoralis major, you have the pectoralis minor. And between here, the ribs into the back, you have the serratus anterior. So that is the chest. And then here is the arm. The anterior portion is that when your palm is facing out. So that palm connect with the arm. We call this is the anterior view. So in the anterior view, you have the biceps brachii. So this bicep, that's the from the this part is called the arm, and then this part is called the forearm, and this is the hand. And the biceps, in the inner portion, you have the brachialis right here. And the brachii means branch. Basically, it refers to the arm. And then it connects to the forearm. Forearm, you will have brachial radialis. So this is more like lateral side. If you put your palms up, more like lateral side, brachial radialis. So basically, that bone in the lateral side is your radius, and so the inner portion is the ulnar. So you have the brachial radialis, and then in the inner portion, you have something that gradually be able to control your finger. So you have this one, it's called pronator teres. So it's flip your arm. So you're able to flip your forearm. So it's a pronator teres. And then down here, you have several smaller muscles to cause your palm and the finger to flex. So this is a flexion, that's extension. If we are talking about the wrist, flexion, extension. So all this muscle will cause it flex. And so that refers to the function of the hand. Flexor carpi, because this is a carpal, flexor carpi radialis, and then so that there are several other muscle here, but it doesn't label here. We will see more in when we talk about the arm and the forearm. So that's the arm, the upper limb, and then we talk about the lower limb. So lower limb, the primary muscle in the front is called quadriceps. Quadra means four. Quadriceps femoralis. These quadriceps include these two and this one and this one. Actually, this one, this one, this one. There are four of them here. They only show you three, but there are another one, or maybe hiding a little bit behind. So these four are rectus femoralis. So that's the major one. Rectus means is make it straight, rectangular in a way, rectus. And then you have you actually have three vastus muscle. You have vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and the vastus intermediaris, but we don't show it here. So you have rectus femoralis, vastus lateralis, and the vastus medialis. Yeah, so that's that. So that's the primary one in the front. It's very important for your basically your kicking actually. All of these have tendon go over the patella and then attach to the tibia. Yeah, so that tendon right there. And then another muscle more interior, this one is also superior. It's across your side. We call this portion the side. This portion is the lower leg. This is our foot. Yeah, so whole thing here is the leg, this muscle is called sartorius. And then inner portion you have the gracilis. There are two other muscles here. The most inner one is called adductor longus. So adductor is your movement getting close your middle. So this one will bring your leg to the middle. Adductor longus, and this one is called pectineus. So that's a muscle. Further up here, you have the muscle is called ilium. Ilium means the hip bone, the ilium. Iliopsoas. This P doesn't pronounce iliopsoas. Psoas. Yeah, so that's that muscle. And in the very lateral side, you have this muscle. This muscle is pretty long. This muscle is called tensor. Tensor means like tension. Fascia latae. Fascia means superficial. Latae means lateral. So tensor fascia latae. So that's very lateral side. It has this tendon pretty long, go all the way. This tendon actually has a name. We will look into that because this tendon connects several things with it. Yeah. So that's the front of your side, and then the front or anterior of your lower leg. The very most anterior one is called tibia because this bone doesn't cover with the muscle, so you can feel it. It's only underneath the skin. So every muscle, every bone is very much covered by the muscle, but patella and the tibia are not covered. And so the most anterior one is actually lower than or like posterior than the tibia. That is called the tibialis. So that's tibia. Anterior. So that's that one. And then the remaining is very much associated with the posterior side. But what we can see here is this one is a soleus and the gastrocnemius. So it has two muscles. It doesn't really tell difference, but later we will see that. Let me show you here. Soleus and the gastrocnemius right here. So if you look at the back, the posterior, the most superficial one is this one here, gastrocnemius. So this gastrocnemius actually you have two big muscle covering the most lateral portion, okay, most posterior portion of your lower leg. Behind it is the soleus, and behind the soleus is the tibialis posterior. So that's a very much like a three layer of your calf, like lower leg, the posterior view, the gastrocnemius, soleus, and the tibialis posterior. So that's that. Uh, yeah, another one that you can also see is the peroneus. So peroneus is associated with the fibula. Peroneus longus is there. So that's the lower portion. But let's finish this one first. So that's everything. Here we go. Fibularis longus. So that's that one. So that's the anterior view. And then the posterior view. The posterior view is here. So from the top we have the occipital frontalis, and the tendon here is called epi. Epi means on the surface. Cranial means your brain or your head. Epicranial upon neurosis. Upon neurosis. Upon neurosis is a type of tendon that's very flat, like a sheath. Aponeurosis. This is commonly mentioned in many area in our body, and this one in particular is in the epicranial. So it's just like that. And then in the back, you have the two splenius muscle. It only labeled one here. It's called splenius. So this is very much like back of your neck. You have two in each side, actually, two type in each side. Splenius capitis, capital means your head, capitis. And then this one is one to bring up your shoulder blader. Shoulder blader is scapula. So this one is levator, level up, levator scapula. And then here you have in the superficial layer, you have the trapezius. But deeper than the trapezius, you have the muscle to connect with the scapula. The back of scapula, you have the spine. So, and this is the medial border, the spine. Spine, you have the superior spine natus, and you have the inferior spinatus. So you have spine above and the lower. So that's the spine. You also have two muscle to control your arm to the scapula. So your arm doing this way, something has to pull it, right? Something has to pull it. So that pulling of your arm to the shoulder blade is called teres. So here you have the teres minor on the top. It connects with your humerus. Teres major in the lower portion. So this is deeper than your trapezius. So that's a trapezius. And then you have the back. You also have this one. This one is also pretty big. This one is called latissimus dorsi. Latissimus means like layout. Latissimus. Dorsi means dorsal means your back. Latissimus dorsi. And behind or deeper than the latissimus dorsi, you have these serratus muscle. You have anterior serratus right here, anterior serratus, and they basically pull your ribs. And in the posterior portion, you also have the serratus, and this serratus posterior interior muscle. It only show you this one here, so that's okay. And then here is the external oblique. External oblique is from the side into the front. So they don't go to the entire like belly. They go to the side of the of your abdominal. So it will basically external oblique will connect into these, this portion, external oblique right here. Right here, yes. I think that's that one. External oblique. Yeah. Abdominal external oblique. All right. External oblique. So that's the same thing. So that's the back. And then your arm, we can look at we talk about this one, teres connect with the arm. Deltoid, we talk about that, connect with the shoulder toward the arm. And then the major muscle in the posterior, meaning the palm is the anterior, the back here is the posterior. The major muscle in the posterior portion of your arm is called triceps. Yeah, so this is triceps right there. The front anterior is called biceps. So terminology is very easy. Biceps, triceps. Yeah. Brachii means your arm. And then going to the forearm, there are more muscle. You kind of need to know that our arm do not have that many muscle, but our forearm has a lot of muscle because this forearm has a tendon going to the fingers, and we have a lot of fine movement. This is probably the most abundant fine movement in our body. Some people are very good at soccer, so their leg fine movements are also pretty good, but it requires a lot of training. For normal people, our arm and hands probably provide the most fine movement. So our forearm has a lot of smaller muscle, but our arm, just arm itself, is not that complicated. You only have biceps, triceps, that's a major one. And yeah. So here you have the triceps in the back. And then the forearm, you have more muscle now. So here is the connect this is a little bit like more anterior portion, brachial radialis. So I think you can find it here as well. Right here. Brachialis, this one, brachial, here goes. So you can see it much more here. Brachial radialis. Yeah. So that's that. Okay. Brachial radialis. And then another arm, this arm, you can see that a lot of those are the extensor because now we are looking at the back. So it caused the wrist angle to extend. So extension. So that's the extensor muscle. So you have the extensor carpi radialis, extensor digitorum. So this muscle have the tendon all the way down to the tendon. This one also have into the heart, into the back of your hand. Extensor carpi ulnaris, extensor carpi, flexor. So this one is going to the front palm. Flexor carpi ulnaris. So that's the arm portion. And then going down into your leg. First thing we will see is our butt. So butt muscle, the very outer portion is called gluteus. So you have the gluteus maxima. It's covered the entire of your butt. Gluteus media is from more like iliac crest all the way down. This one actually will connect with the tibia, connect with the tendon that all the way down into your knee. It doesn't really show it here, but we will see it in more detail in the later slides. Media, and then inner portion, you have the gluteus minimus. And then down here, you have some other gluteus muscle. These all called gemellus muscle right here. And there are some other detailed muscle, but it doesn't show here. That's okay. And for the back of your leg, so that's everything about the gluteus. For the back of your legs right here, the primary thing that you can see is there is biceps muscle right here. So femoris, because the leg bone is a femurs. Femoris, here you have the femoral. So two muscle are kind of split our posterior side of our side. One is called bicep femoral, so that's one side toward the lateral side, and the one toward the medial side right here is called semitendinosus. Semitendinosus. And then the next muscle, the muscle next to the semitendinosus is called semimembranosus. So the terminology is very similar, easy to remember. So basically the major one in your side, in the lateral, from the lateral to the medial is biceps femoralis, semitendinosus, then semimembranosus. So that's one. And then the next thing is the very medial one. And this very medial one is called gracilis. We also saw this one previously. That's very medial one, gracilis. So gracilis is a muscle. It's very medial and very long, also very thin. Go all the way down from your pubis all the way down into your knee area. So gracilis. Yeah. So that's that. So that's the back of your leg. This tendon is also very interesting. It doesn't show you here, but it's also very interesting. We will see that later. So that's the posterior portion of your side. And then the lower leg, as I mentioned before, the very superficial, but also very big one is called gastro. Gastric is like belly or like your stomach. Yeah. So this is the stomach of the muscle. Gastrocnemius, gastrocnemius, and you have it covered all the way down, and you have to your tendon and your leg. Underneath that is the soleus, and underneath the soleus is tibialis posterior, because the one before is tibialis anterior. The one after is tibialis posterior. And the side is the lateral side here is the peroneus longus. So that's a major muscle. And let's take a break. We will start looking into your facial. All right, so let's take a break.